when I was in school, I had studied illustration because the painting department at my school was a lot more conceptual and was very good if you already knew how to paint before you got there, kind of thing. But if you're like me, didn't know how to do it, it wasn't as good. And in illustration, I learned how to kind of invent things. Like one of the biggest kind of tenets of that study is learning perspective, learning how things kind of work and interact in the world. And that skill set was something I worked on for a really long time, but never really found a way to use it in my work until, you know, a little bit recently was I was kind of learning like, oh, if I take these skills that I learned, I can now make the images I'm making not just something from a photograph per se, or like something that's just you could photograph it, but I can also use those skills to heighten the meaning or the metaphor. So this really came through for me in this one of the paintings I made recently. It's called Dream. It's like kind of me laid out and reflected in this landscape, and you're kind of in this uh, landscape underneath. And one thing I really liked was, obviously I could photograph myself being reflected and then an exterior behind me and all that stuff. But by adding that kind of peaceful landscape and that vibe to it, it really amplified that feeling of like kind of like being in between a dream and reality, or like slowly emerging into that. As well as there was a painting I did a while ago in a laundry room. And this was when I had first moved into my apartment. You know, I it was so hot outside, and we always had to lug the laundry from the apartment to the laundry room just because there was no in unit. And literally, it felt like I was melting in there. Like it was awful, and I'd have to do it a couple times a week. And all of a sudden, I just came to my like, I was like, okay, I'm going to make a painting about this. But what if the laundry machines are melting, like quite literally, like waving and melting to kind of represent that feeling? So, in a lot of ways, it was using the skills I had gained to give myself more freedom with image making. And also, another thing, too, is like if I was kind of afraid of something, or I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to paint this, I always viewed that as a good thing. I was like, okay, like this is a good way to go into a new painting because that means even if I fail, I'll kind of grow in some way because it's not completely in my comfort zone.